back to They Call Me Sookie. I'm Sookie. So, the purpose of today's video is just to give you an update of what's been happening. So, if you're new to the channel or returning, thank you for returning. Thank you for joining. I am reinventing my life in my late 50s. So, that's the whole purpose of the current videos that'll be happening over the next few weeks. And I invite you to follow me on my journey. So this video is just really a quick presentation of what I've done over the last week and into week two. So last week was week one, just starting over and reinventing the channel. And now week two is just basically starting to reinvent my life and my purpose and my businesses. So I say businesses because there's more than one, but right now I'm focusing primarily on the accounting practice in YouTube. But in the future, I'll also be focusing on the notary and the loan signing agent business, as well as the life and health insurance. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I just wanted to hop on and let you all know. So let's get into it. So, my accomplishments for week one. First of all, I joined a coaching program, and that is to help create a bookkeeping business. I already have a business name. I've already started this business. I started this business in 2015. I worked it a little during the pandemic, all the way up until last year when I knew I needed to have surgery. So the business is not really new, it's restarting it because the clients that I had, I no longer have. So it's a business with no clients, and so I'm starting all over. And so the purpose of the coaching program was to help me learn how to get clients in this new digital marketing environment. And I also have a nano degree in digital marketing, which I completed in 2017. But as you all know, my husband had multiple strokes at the end of 2017. So I never had an opportunity to use what I learned. So I'm just trying to relearn some things, continue to grow what I already know. So I joined this coaching program, and it's to help people start bookkeeping businesses. So there's tons of people in this program. I've looked at it for about, I want to say maybe 8 or 9 months just before my surgery. The person offered a book. I bought the book. Well, actually, I got the book for free. And then I decided to move forward last week. Okay, so the second thing that I've accomplished from week one into week two, and I'm saying week one, but it's actually week one into week two. I started the training program this week, week two. And so in that, it's just really starting over. So basically, this program also helps people that don't know anything about accounting or bookkeeping. I'm a CPA, so I'm way ahead of the curve, but I paid the money. So I said I want to start it from the beginning and just work my way through. There were some things that I learned that I didn't know, not about accounting, but about marketing and storage of records. So that's the reason for the coaching, and that's how far I've gotten. I am on section, I believe section 3 or 4, and there's 9 sections to it. And I've completed most of section, I think it's section 3 today, and so I will be finished after this video. Okay, the third thing I did within week one going into week two is niche selections. Niche. So I already had an idea of what I wanted to do, and what I really focused on was things that I've already worked on. So in most of my career, I've done a lot, but a lot of it has always fallen back onto the nonprofit niche or niche. So, and I thought about what I did in my prior business that I had for 10 years. It was an accounting practice. This time I want to specifically focus on bookkeeping and possibly tax, and then all the other things that I have going on that can integrate with that. So, small businesses. So when I had my business before, I only worked with small businesses that were startups. That's not going to be the case this time. I am going to do small businesses, but I'm not going to focus specifically on startups because what I learned is that startups really don't have the money to pay. So my niche, not for profits, small businesses, and we'll get further on how I'm going to niche down even further. So, and then the other thing that I have done, I started taking marketing classes, and I started this probably a month ago. So I joined a marketing platform. So this is where I'm going to be able to house all the things that I'm going to market my business. I'll be able to create funnels. I'll be able to do an email marketing system. I'll be able to actually build my own website, which I want to do myself. I had a website, I shut it down um, last year. Not really shut it down, but kind of put it on pause. But they did not renew my domain name. So I have to get a new domain name. So I'm really focusing on doing things that I can do myself. And of course, it's probably easier to outsource this, but I don't want to outsource anything at this time. I want to be able to have a handle on it and know everything that's happening in my business. So I'm sorry that the slide says week one. It should actually say week one and week two. So forgive me for that. And the last thing of accomplishments is really me reflecting on past wins. And when I say past wins, I'm talking about learning from the past. My business that I had before was successful. So, what can I take from that business and apply to this business, as well as other things that I've learned working? So, let's move on. Let's get into the next slide. If I can get it to go. Sorry, guys. Okay. So, here it is, why coaching. So, I'm going to go by each step. Why coaching program? Well, the coaching program, like I already stressed, was really to help me learn new techniques on marketing and pricing, because those are the two biggest issues when it comes to an accounting and bookkeeping firm: getting clients, how much to charge them. You can know how to do everything, but if you're not getting clients and you're not, and when you do get clients, you're not pricing it properly, it does nothing. So that was the biggest reason for me doing the coaching, those two things. And that's the areas that I'm really focused on and targeted for the coaching program: how to get clients, how to price my services. I already know what services I want to do, but how do I price them? You know, there's several ways to do it, and I have ideas of what to do, but I really need to know what others are doing and how I can perfect it. So that's the reason for the coaching program. It's not that I need accounting help, because I don't. It's just those two areas of accounting that most people that are accountants have issues with: getting clients and also retaining them, and pricing your services. So let's move on to number two that was listed in my list of accomplishments. So when did I start the training and what are my thoughts on the training? So I actually purchased the training, the program, the coaching program on April 30th. And the reason I did it, because the program is pretty expensive, but I got an email saying that they were going to offer the program where you don't have to put this huge lump sum, which is actually $5,000. I don't have $5,000 to give away. And then the likelihood of me completing these programs are usually slim to none. So I got to take things in bite-sized pieces. So when they sent me an email and they offered me, and I'm sure they sent it to everybody, $199 a month, and that's like for as long as you want to be in the program. You don't have to pay, because it's $5,000 plus a $2,500 setup fee, so that's $7,500. So with this, I only have to pay $199 to get started, and it's $199 a month. So the purpose of it really is to those two areas, like I said, pricing and getting clients, and it's just to reinforce what I already know and build more confidence in presenting and talking to clients, which I think I'm pretty confident, because confidence is key in business and in life. But I just want to enhance the things that I already have and build upon more, because you can always learn from someone. And one thing for sure, if you're in business, you should have someone to help you. You need a coach. You need someone that you can bounce ideas off of if you need help. When I had my other business, I used to go to my former boss and I ask questions, tax questions, things that I just didn't know. So I would reach out to him to get help. So that's the whole purpose of this, because not only do I get this training, but when I get clients, they will work on those clients for me in the beginning if I want them to. And that's my goal. I don't want to actually do the work. I want to set up the business, get the clients, and then outsource the work. And then work on other things that I want to do that I have interest in that I know I can make money off of. So my thoughts so far on the training program is I like it. I think he's very thorough. It is a little bit dumbed down, but that's because my level of accounting is so high. I've been in this for over 30 years, and I'm a CPA at the highest designation that you can get in accounting. So that's it. That's my thought. I like it, and I started it immediately. Actually, after I bought it on the 30th. But I have been going slow because I've been doing other things. I actually do have another YouTube channel that I'm working on, and I'm really enjoying that one. So I put a lot of time into that. Once that is actually up and running, and I'm hoping to get that monetized soon, um, I'll share it with you guys. But it's a specific niche, and I'm not ready to reveal that. So let's move on. So niche selections and why. Okay, so I think I've already touched on it on why. So I like I said, I selected not-for-profit organizations and small businesses. So the reason I selected not-for-profit organizations because I spent a better part of my career working in this industry and I know it well. So if you know something well, why reinvent the wheel and you can automatically become that expert? And so then small businesses I picked up because I love working with small businesses. That's what I did in my last business. It's a joy to me. I understand it. You have to totally understand small businesses and where they're coming from and what they need. And the biggest thing that they need is how much money do I have and can I spend it? And then after that, having them set up for their taxes. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to do taxes this time. I did taxes before, but I think pretty much anything that I'm doing, I'm going to outsource. So tax may be a part of it because what I've learned in my prior business, if you do the accounting and the bookkeeping, you want to keep everything in house because if you get a tax person that does accounting and bookkeeping, they can snatch your client, and that's what you don't want. And so that's the reason for those. When I had my other business, I did startups. And I don't want to do startups because the one thing that I learned, they have a difficult time paying because they're brand new. They know they need accounting services, and everybody wants to say they have a CPA just because it's some type of status symbol. But the reality is, if you're not making any money or you're just growing, you don't really need an accountant, a CPA, or bookkeeper. You can actually keep it on an Excel spreadsheet and give it to your tax preparer. So that's the reason why I won't be doing startups. So the size of nonprofit organizations and small businesses that I am looking to work with. So this is like niching down a little bit more. The nonprofit and the small business need to have the nonprofit an annual budget and the small business a sales range of $500,000, which is a $500,000 to $2 million. That's still considered very, very small. These are micro businesses, but they're making enough money that they can afford a bookkeeper or an accountant, but they're not making too much where they need to have an accounting team. So this is the reason I did that. It may change, but that's my thought. But I know for sure I wouldn't want to go over $5 million because then you start having to do a lot more accounting work, of which I don't want to do. Okay, so let's move on. You know why I selected my niches. Okay, so the next question and the next thing that I had in my list of what I have accomplished within weeks 1 and 2 is why take marketing classes? Why am I taking marketing classes? Well, in order to get clients, you have to let people know you exist. How do you let people know you exist? Marketing. So I've mentioned before that I have a nano degree in digital marketing that I achieved in 2017. But because my husband had the massive strokes, I never had an opportunity to use it because at that time, that was the time for me to rebuild my business and market and learn how to do it digitally. Because what I did before were mailers, old school. It still works, but digital marketing is so much faster and you can just target, you can just really target to who you want. And you have you build your avatar, your customer avatar, you walk them through the customer journey, and it's just so specific and targeted. And it allows you not to waste your time trying to convince someone they need your services. Because when you target specifically to your ideal client, they're going to come to you. And so you're not going to have to convince them because they're already coming to you. You just need to show them what you can do in terms of, what someone else can do and make yourself look better, but they're going to come to you. You're not going to have to chase them down. So that's the reason why I'm taking the marketing classes, just to kind of like a refresher on what I've learned and then learn some things that are new. So it's enhancing what I already know. I'm learning from some of the top digital marketing minds that are doing marketing and affiliate marketing, which is something that I'm also very interested in. And it just works so well because if you can market that, you can market anything. So what I did, I joined a platform to do my marketing. It's another company. I don't want to talk about it yet because I am going to be doing affiliate marketing for them. So when I get to that point, and if you all are on this journey and you want to start your own business, because this is the whole purpose of this, is to show my journey and rebuilding myself, rebranding myself in my 50s. And this is for anybody. You don't have to be in your 50s, but I'm just talking to people in my age range because some people like me have faced being laid off. And right now, I'm threatening being laid off from my job. So that's the whole reason for all of this, is to be in a position where, one, I will never lose my job. And that's where I was before and I loved it. But unfortunately, I had an illness and I had to go back to work and let my business go. And we can talk about that another time, but this is what we're talking about today. So, and then also, you guys know I just had major surgery. I had my ACDF surgery on my cervical spine. And I was forced to go back to work after a few weeks. It was like maybe 3 months, I think, three months. But 3 months sounds like a long time, but when you had major surgery like I had, and the doctor was saying I needed to be off, my surgery was in August. I was not supposed to go back to work until the 1st of April. From August 2024 to April 1st of 2025 was the time I was supposed to be off. But I had to go back in November 18th in excruciating pain, not ready. So that made me begin to think and wonder, I need to go back and do something on my own because I don't want to ever be in this position again where I'm sick or I'm recovering from a surgery or my husband needs me and I'm forced to go back to work because I'll lose my source of income. I don't ever want that to happen to me. And then the add insult to injury, a few months later to find out that I may be laid off. So that's still up in the air. They don't know what they're going to do with me. So they may have an extension until September. They may not. I don't know. But as of now, my grant that I work on ends June 30th. So my job potentially will end July 31st because we have 1 month to submit all the expenses to the city for reimbursement. So this is why I'm doing this. This is the marketing classes. So this is really relevant to a lot of people that find themselves midlife, closer to retirement. You're in the twilight of your career, and then you lose your job, your main source of income. And it's happened to a lot of people that work for the government now that have been let go. So this journey, I hope you come with me. And if this is something that you need to do, just know that you can do it. Just ride with me and see how I do this because it will happen. So that's my take on that. So let's move on to the next slide. So I said reflecting on past wins. The reason I talk about reflecting on past wins is because I know I did this before. I had my own accounting practice for 10 years and it was successful. So my goal is to utilize what I learned from being in business for 10 years, take the wins and reuse it, recycle it, don't reinvent the wheel, and then take the mistakes, the learning opportunities, correct those things, and don't repeat that in this business because I learned a lot. I had no idea about running an accounting practice. I had just got my CPA license. My mom needed surgery, so I wanted to be there for her. And then both my parents became ill. So it worked out for me to be working for myself to help care for my parents. So that's what I'm saying. And so now here we are later. I'm in the older age range now, mid 50s, mid to late 50s. And when you get a little bit older, you haven't completely taken care of yourself, overeating, gaining weight, you have some things that you need to work on and you may possibly need some time off. So again, I just don't ever want to be in a position where somebody is dictating how much money I can make, if I make any money at all. I don't want to be in that position again, because that's how I feel right now. And then the reality is, to me, I'm a grown woman. I should not have to let you know I have to go to the doctor. I should not have to let you know that I need physical therapy, or I have to do this, I have to do that. As long as I do my work and the work is done, hands off. That's my attitude. It's always been my attitude. But when you work for someone, you can't do that. And so I want to be in a position to control my own life and my own destiny and my own finances. So that's the thing, the reason for all of this. And so that's why I said reflect on the past wins that you have. And if you plan on starting a business, or you want to start a business, think about the things that you've done. What have you done your whole life, your career, for money? You can monetize those things, because the reality is, what you know you think is insignificant, because I did. But when I started talking to people, people were willing to pay me for the knowledge that I had. I learned that many years ago when I started my business. I was in awe. I'm like, people are paying me for this? This is so simple, but it's simple to me, not to the person that needs the help. So just reflect on that. And so that's what I'm doing. So I know that what I did before in my own business, 10, that was way past it, for 10 years. It was 2004 to 2014. What I did then is still relevant today. And I can use what I learned and what I did to complete this one, and then put a spin on it with all of the new things that are happening in, digital marketing, Facebook, you got TikTok, you got Instagram. So all of these things you can utilize to get the word out. So that's the reason for all of this marketing and coaching, because to come into this era and work on it, but know the things that I did in the past still work, but we're just getting it where it's like microwave speed. So let's move on. Next slide. So these are the final takeaways. Spending week 1 and week 2, rebuilding, reflecting, and just getting things going. So, number 1, it takes courage to recognize change is needed. And it takes even more courage to step out and begin that change. So that's what I'm doing. Number 2, I have 100% trust in God. Whether you believe in God or not, I do. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, my Lord and personal Savior, and God will see me through to the finish. There's no doubt in my mind this will be successful. Matter of factly, it already is, because He has already given us the things that we need. I don't know if you've ever heard of the duality of existence. Things exist in the spirit realm before they come into this physical realm. So you have to believe it in order to see it. And 100% I believe and trust God that this is working, and God will see me through to the finish. And number 3, my success is not anyone else's success. So I plan to own it. I'm going to own my own success. I'm going to measure my success by me. I am the only measuring stick for my success. I can't look at this person or look at that person and say, hey, wait a minute, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're so successful. Yes, that's what you see, but what's going on behind the scenes? So the only gauge that you have for your success is you. And that's what I'm saying. I am not looking at anybody else. I'm going to own my own success. And then the final takeaway from these 2 weeks of reinventing myself is have faith in my gifts. Have faith in the gifts that God has given me, in the abilities that He has placed in me, and the purpose that He's put in me to serve others in these areas. And so the only thing I can say is, when I'm having faith in my gifts, it's just to do it. No ifs, ands, and buts about it, and no more putting it off. Today's the day. Today's the day to get it done. So, thank you so much for joining me in this video. And if you want to continue the journey with me to reinvent my life and to go higher in all aspects of life, I'd like to see you in the next video. And if you want to join this journey, just join. Just join. Do what you have to do. So if you like this content and you want to follow me on my journey, please consider subscribing to follow me on this journey and see where God takes me to the end. So, thank you for your time. My time is up. I thank you for yours.